The mobilization avalanche begins. 5 days when Europe chose suicide. I'm Soldier Peter, and I'll show you the 5 most fatal days in human history. From July 24th to 28th, 1914, Europe's mobilization machine starts up. Each mobilization triggers another mobilization. Every order provokes a counter-order, and within 5 days, it is no longer possible to stop the war. Millions of men are traveling by train to the front, unaware that most of them will never return home. July 24th morning, Vienna declares a partial mobilization against Serbia. Officially, it is just preparation for a local conflict. In reality, it is the first stone falling from the mountain that will trigger an avalanche. The Austrian generals believe they can control the escalation. They are mistaken. Mobilization has its own logic, and no one can stop it anymore. That same afternoon, the Russian General Staff receives news of the Austrian mobilization. Tsar Nicholas convenes a military council. The generals are united. Russia must also mobilize, otherwise Austria will have a week's head start. Nicholas asks if this doesn't mean war. War Minister Suchomlinov replies, "Mobilization is not yet war, it's just preparation." He will repeat it for another 5 minutes until he believes his own lie. The Tsar signs the order for the preparatory mobilization of Russian military districts against Austria. July 25th is a critical day. In Berlin, Wilhelm receives the news of the Russian mobilization. His reaction is panic. He calls Bethmann Hollweg and shouts, "The Russians are encircling us. We must act now or never." Bethmann tries to calm the Kaiser down, but it's already too late. German generals begin preparing their own mobilization. The Schlieffen Plan requires Germany to strike first, otherwise the entire strategy will fail. During July 25th, the situation deteriorates dramatically. France receives reports of German preparations and immediately begins a secret mobilization. Officially, nothing is announced, but in reality, troops are already being moved toward the German border. The French General Staff activates the railway schedule for troop transport. Within 72 hours, France can have 1 million men at the border ready to fight. July 26th brings an attempt to save the peace. Britain proposes a 4-party conference. Britain, France, Germany, and Italy are supposed to negotiate a peaceful solution. Gray sends urgent telegrams to all major capitals, but in reality, no one actually wants the conference. Austria rejects it as interference in internal affairs. Germany says it's already too late. France agrees, but continues its mobilization. Russia claims it wants peace, but also continues its preparations. That same evening, something incredible happens. The Russian General Staff discovers that partial mobilization against Austria is logistically impossible. The railway schedule is designed either for mobilization against Austria or for full mobilization against both Austria and Germany at the same time. There is no middle ground. The generals pressure the Tsar. "We must declare full mobilization. Otherwise there will be chaos and our army will be destroyed before the war even begins." July 27th is a day of hesitation. Tsar Nicholas spends the whole day wavering between full and partial mobilization. In the morning, he signs the order for full mobilization. In the afternoon, he cancels it after receiving a telegram from Kaiser Wilhelm. In the evening, he signs it again after pressure from the generals and the foreign minister. It is the most tragic day of the Tsar's life. His weakness and hesitation will kill millions of people, including his own family. In Berlin, German generals watch the Russian mobilization in horror. General Moltke says to Bethmann, "Every hour of delay costs thousands of German lives. If the Russians mobilize first and we wait, we will lose the war before it even begins." The Schlieffen Plan requires Germany to attack France within the first 14 days of Russian mobilization. Time is running out, along with the chance of victory. That same evening, Austria receives word that Russia is mobilizing its entire army. This is not preparation for a local conflict with Serbia. This is preparation for a major war. Conrad immediately orders a full Austrian mobilization. Now it's no longer just about Serbia. It's about the survival of the monarchy. Austria-Hungary has 3 million men under arms, but against the combined Russian and Serbian forces, that may not be enough. July 28th morning, Austria officially declares war on Serbia. This is the first formal declaration of war in the crisis. But in reality, everyone is already fighting. Mobilization is underway, trains are carrying soldiers, borders are closing. Austrian artillery begins to bombard Belgrade. The first civilians are dying. War is no longer an abstract threat. It is a bloody reality. That same afternoon, Germany receives an ultimatum from Russia. Stop supporting Austria or you will bear the consequences yourselves. The German generals see this as a declaration of war. Wilhelm calls Bethmann. The Russians are provoking us. We must respond with force. Bethmann has already lost control of the situation. Military logic has taken power over political logic. On the evening of July 28th, it is clear that Europe is heading into the greatest war in its history. Mobilization is already underway in 4 countries: Austria, Russia, Serbia, Germany. France is preparing. Britain is hesitating. Within 5 days, a political crisis has turned into a mobilization avalanche, and the avalanche can no longer be stopped. It has its own force and direction. The most tragic thing about these 5 days is the fact that no one actually wants a world war. Everyone just wants a small war, a quick victory, the satisfaction of their own interests. But the system of alliances and mobilization plans turns every small war into a global apocalypse. The politicians have lost control over events. Now, it is the generals, railway timetables, and the mathematics of mobilization that make the decisions. During those 5 days, citizens of all countries pay taxes for the normal functioning of the state. They have no idea that their money is being turned into train tickets to the front, ammunition for the cannons, and funerals for their sons. Austrian farmers pay taxes that will finance the bombardment of Belgrade. Russian workers pay income tax, which will be turned into wages for millions of mobilized soldiers. German merchants pay customs duties that will be used for the invasion of Belgium. 5 days of mobilization have shown that modern states are like giant machines. Once they start running, they cannot be stopped. Politicians may shout, "Stop," citizens may protest, diplomats may negotiate, but the machine is already running and will crush everything in its path. In 5 days, Europe decided on suicide, and no one has the courage or the power to stop it. If you like the videos and the whole series, please give a like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you have any opinions on the topic, share them in the comments. Soldier Peter,